adjustment. Let's see. All right. Please silence your cell phones or any electronic device. Good morning and welcome to the Board of Adjustment, Board of Appeals. Regular meeting November 12th, 10 a.m. Would the Deputy Town Clerk please call the roll?
Member Lanson?
Here.
Member Weiss? Member Gordon? Chairperson Rosen?
Yep.
Town Attorney Rubin? Thank you.
Thank you so much. The agenda of the Board of Adjustment Appeals regular meeting. Are there any changes to the agenda? If not, we'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Changes? Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All opposed, say nay. We need to swear in the public, so for those giving testimony on the application of the agenda, please stand, raise your right hand, be sworn in by our Deputy Town Clerk.
By the authority vested in me as a notary of the state of Florida, do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any corrections to the minutes of the July 29th meeting? Hearing none, I make a motion of the approval of the minutes. Is there a second? Second, thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Any unfinished business? We have none. New business. We have a variance application, PZ-24-11, Stephen and Maria Garchik. Consideration of application PZ-24-11 by Michael Marshall Esquire. The variance to allow reduction of a rear setback as provided in section 30-64 of the Town Code of Ordinances from the required 20 feet to 4 feet in order to accommodate an open walled roof accessory structure for the property located at 2474 South Ocean Boulevard. Do any board members have any ex parte communications to disclose?
No. No.
Thank you. At this time, we'd like to open for public hearing. Town Planner Allen, please present your recommendations regarding the application.
Okay, good morning. For the record, Ingrid Allen, Town Planner. Starting on page 9 of your packets, I provided you some property history. You have a 2023 to 2024 history. This should be familiar to the board members, given that you all considered a appeal by the applicant back on July 29, 2024. When the applicant submitted their variance application, I did find some additional background information on the property from 1997 and 1998. So I've gone ahead and added that. In your packet, starting on page 50, there's some aerials. I've gone ahead and provided them here on the PowerPoint. Again, these are all provided in your packet. So here you have the subject property, which is highlighted in red. And here you have a zoom in of the rear of the home. And you could see on the left-hand side there, there's some red markings there, which show the actual accessory structure in question. And here we have a photograph that was taken by staff of the accessory structure. And here we have the survey, which is also provided in your packet on page 53. I've gone ahead just for clarity purposes and highlighted in yellow the accessory structure in question. Again, it's located according to the survey 4 feet from the property line. All right, so as indicated, this is a request for a variance. It's actually an after the fact because the structure's already been built. I do provide a little additional history here on page 10. Again, the structure was built without a permit. On the permit and on the code case, the structure was called out as a pergola. I provided for you again in the middle of page 10 what an accessory structure, what our definition is in the code. The request here today, what is before you is a variance, and I've also provided you what our code says with regards to variances. It's section 30-40A, and the purpose of a variance is to grant a reduction in the dimensional requirements of the zoning code, which is chapter 30. So this includes building setbacks, which is what the applicant is requesting at this time. At the bottom of page 10, I've provided for you the criteria. When you apply for a variance, the code requires the applicant to be compliant with the criteria that are provided in the code. Again, those are at the bottom of page 10, all the way to the top of page 8. The applicant has provided their responses to those criteria on page 14. I've gone ahead and just provided some additional staff analysis, which is in the middle of page 11. I'll just go over that quickly. Again, this is just staff's analysis of the applicant's response to the variance criteria. The applicant indicates in their response to criteria A that gazebos are not permitted in the applicant's yard. In addition, the response to criteria B, the applicant states that the gazebos are prohibited in the rear yard without a variance. And I just want to note to the board that the zoning code does allow accessory structures to include gazebos in the rear yard of a property. However, the structure shall comply with the rear building setback. Given the town codes, it does not permit such structures to encroach the setback. So you can have it, you just have to comply with the building setback. In the applicant's response to criteria C, it is noted that other homes have covered outdoor areas, and the code is very clear, section 30-40K. It states that evidence of nonconforming use of neighboring land structures or buildings in the same zoning district or the permitted use of land structures or buildings in other zoning districts shall not be grounds or considered grounds for the authorization of a variance. So I've heard, I've done various variances in my career. So sometimes people will say, well, my neighbor down the street has it. Well, they may have a non-conforming structure. That is not a justification per our code for approving a variance. So there are some additional criteria which are in the code. Section 30-40M, other items that the board shall be considering, that the reasons set forth in the application justifying the granting of the variance and that the variance is a minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, building or structure, and that granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of this chapter and will not be injurious to the neighborhood or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. And if the board decides to approve the applicant's variance today, this includes the survey, which is date stamp received by the building department on August 28, 2024. The applicant will be required to obtain, again, an after the fact permit with the building department. So that said, I will be more than happy to address any questions. We do have the applicant attorney here today to also address questions, and there you are.
Thank you. I did have a couple of questions. Has anything changed since we met on July 29th?
As far as the structure, the open structure, no, it's still there. Nothing has changed in regards to the structure itself.
Okay. Has this structure been inspected by any town official?
I know we've had our code compliance officer. You did go out there, Adam, right? Or no? I'll defer to Mr. Oh, you'll have to come to the mic, Adam, please.
Please raise your right hand. By the authority vested in me as a notary of the state of Florida, do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
I will,
Okay.
repeat the question, please.
My question was, has this structure been inspected to meet code for hurricanes or whatever disaster there might be? I just want to know, has the town inspected it and seen if it's would pass inspection if it was permanent?
Our previous town senior building inspector was out there. I'm not sure what his inspection revealed. He's no longer employed with the town, so anything future would need to be re-inspected.
Right, that would be done afterwards. I mean, because they'd have to get the building permit. As part of the building permit, they do the inspections and make sure it complied with wind load and all that other stuff.
Okay. I mean, the application is for a pretty substantial variance, but the question is, if nothing's changed, I would like to hear what other members of the board have to say. Do you have any comments on it?
Just one question. Have there been any complaints from any neighbors or anybody else in the community?
Again, I'll defer to our code enforcement officer. I have not received personally anyone calling me.
No, I've not received any complaints since this originally started.
Okay, I mean, we got 14 letters from neighbors saying they have no problem with it, so the only question is, you know, if this variance is granted, is this structure danger to the community if there's a hurricane? And nobody's inspected it, so, you know, at that point, I have no other questions. Does anybody have any other questions? Is there any comments from public? Sure.
You have to be sworn in as well.
Please raise your right hand. By the authority vested in me as a notary of the state of Florida, do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Frank Bishota and I'm the Garchek's property manager there. We did go through the permit process. We got approved on everything except the survey. This was the last part of it. And that's when the setback came, and everything stopped. We had engineering drawings, we had everything there that it was gonna be approved, and then it went sideways. I had developed cancer and they installed it when I wasn't there. And they did it in like 2 days, but it was done per code. They build all over the state of Florida. They're approved. We're going to have Cudmore, our original contractor on a job, pull the permit for us, and it can be re-inspected. It all can be opened up. You could see all the bolts. And we disconnected it when we had all these problems here also. We disconnected all the electric. It hasn't been used. The Garcheks have not used that pergola. None of the fans work or anything. So until everything gets resolved here, we'll go through the process, get it permitted, and we'll open it back up for whatever inspections you'd like, and it should be fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. As you said, I mean, this was built, the permit application was made, and while the permit application was in process, the structure was built,
Correct.
which should not have been.
It shouldn't happen. It
All
was
right.
because of my illness that, you know, the Garcheks didn't even know the people were there. It got delivered and they showed up from the West Coast and they installed it.
Would, are there any comments from any board members? You guys have any questions? No other questions? Would somebody want to make a motion either for or against this variance?
Is the applicant going to present? I think the applicant
Oh,
might want to
okay.
present.
Okay, thank you.
So let me get this going. So then I can share. Yes. Did it work? Yeah, guys. Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Marshall with Nelson Mullins, 1905 Northwest Corporate Boulevard in Boca Raton. I'm not going to keep you long. It's been mentioned, we've been here and we've been talking about the situation before, so I know everyone's pretty familiar with it. I really just have this presentation, which is really just for the record, to be honest. I could just ask if there's any objection with the city attorney, if I could just offer this into the record, because I don't want to waste your time repeating things. Ingrid did a nice presentation. There are a couple of things to clarify. It is, well, I say clarify, just that I wish to delve into a bit. You know, the variance request is to put a gazebo in the rear yard with the 4-foot setback, as Ingrid said. These are the photos. Well, understand what Ingrid was saying, like you could have a gazebo, but the way the code's written, you can't have a gazebo in your required yard. Like your required yard is determined by your required building footprints, setbacks, right? So you can only have a gazebo under the code is if you put it within the area of the building footprint. So in other words, you have to reduce the size of the home. You have to cannibalize. So you're putting the gazebo, it's required within the building envelope. It's not allowed in the yard. The only way to put it behind a structure is if you put it within the building envelope and make the main structure smaller. That's the difference. Like, so we're saying when we're saying it's not allowed in the yard, we're saying it's not allowed in the required, the minimal required yard. is really what we're saying. So this is the difference, you know, it's instead of being within the building footprint structure, it's in the rear yard is what we're requesting. Again, this is the image that Ingrid shared with you. This is the image again that she shared with you. These are the criteria that Ingrid went through. And one thing to point out here that's unique about this, and I think it's also relevant to the question of the impact of the structure on the public safety and welfare, is that this structure is located along the Intracoastal Waterway, right? It's not on a property line that's shared with another neighbor's yard. It's along the Intercoastal, it's along a dock, it's in an outdoor area that's meant for recreation. That's the point in being on the waterway. And so it faces the open water. And so it really doesn't impact anybody at all. It's at least 50 feet from the property to the north and probably 300 feet from the property to the south. So the only thing is near is their dock. So it doesn't impact anybody. It has no visual impact. There's no shadow, there's no noise, there's no nothing. And so that's probably, I'm sure that's why all of the neighbors are fine with it, because it has no impact on them. So with that, you know, and these are the letters, you know, I just put these here. I'm sure they're in your agenda package. So that's really, I mean, I think all we need to say. More than happy to answer any more questions you may have. But more than anything, just really appreciate your time and consideration. Thank you.
Sorry, do any board members have any questions for us? Okay, I'm going to make a motion that we grant the variance to end this thing. I mean, this has gone on and I'm hopeful that, you know, if this passes, that, you know, we don't get a chance to meet again for a long time. So I will make a motion that we grant the variance if anybody wants. Yeah.
Could amend the motion to make it conditional on obtaining a building permit.
That would be.
And
they have to do
there's
that.
no need. They have to,
Yeah, that has to be done if we. approve
that's,
it.
yeah,
That's automatic.
they have to get the building permit.
So would
Then
somebody
there'll be a
want
whole nother issue.
to second the motion?
I second the motion.
All right, all in favor of granting the variance?
Aye.
Aye. Done. Okay, and okay. Thank you, everybody. Applicant, you may, board member. Let's just see, we have all that done. All right. Just announcements, we have today beachfront property evaluation at the library at 6. On November 19th, we have town commission meeting, December 3rd, town commission meeting, December 12th, planning board meeting. There's no objection at this time. We will adjourn the meeting. All in favor of adjourning the meeting? Aye, we're done.